meteorologist Mark Molnar. I want to thank you all for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern and Hurricane Eastern. We have Invest92L now, right off the southeast coast. So it is an Invest system now. I'm going to go over all the details, the impacts on the southeast. Does it become our next named storm, or does it stay in Invest 92 or a tropical depression? We'll go all the details, the model data, all of that, and we'll look at the rest of the tropics, see if there's anything to be worried about. And we're going to take a look at cold weather pattern. Now, you're probably wondering, what cold weather? Well, there's going to be cold weather coming in out west. Will this eventually translate back east? Because back east, we've seen record warmth. Also, I'm working on my winter weather 2021-2022 outlook, so watch out for that. That should be coming out shortly. And guess what? I'm going to have your weather for the next 5 to 10 days here. We'll go over all the particulars. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell button so you're alerted when I come up with one of these videos. Smash that like button. Also, if you have a question or comment down below, and there are timestamps if you wish to skip ahead. Let's get right into it. And the tropical update for Invest92L, meandering along the southeast coast here during the next 4 to 5 days. Friday, it brings it just off the Georgia and South Carolina border here, and eventually heading up Saturday and Sunday closer to the coast, maybe potentially making landfall in North Carolina. Whether this becomes a tropical depression or tropical storm, we'll have to see if it does. But at this point, it will begin to bend more towards the northeast towards later Sunday and Monday. So the heaviest rain, I think, will be into this green shading, especially Friday into Saturday. We'll have rainfall amounts in this green shading anywhere from 1 to as much as locally higher amounts to 3 inches possible. So flash flooding is a potential. So we'll have to watch and see if Invest 92 becomes some sort of a name system. At this point, I put it at about a 40% chance. All right, very briefly taking a look at the tropics, because I'm really going to spend a lot of time on model data next, devoting a lot of this video to model data. We have that Invest92L system off the coast of Georgia and the Carolinas. We're going to be watching that the next 4 or 5 days as it traverses right up and hugs the coastline here. We also have that next system. It's complete. We don't even call it an Invest system. It's basically not on the radar, but both the GFS, CMC models, I'm going to go over the models with you real quick, very detailed here, very quickly here. There is a potential, especially from, say, Tuesday all the way to Friday next week, of something trying to develop from the Lesser Antilles up towards Puerto Rico and Hispaniola, so in the Bahamas eventually. So I'm going to get into the models very quickly here. And taking a look at the Gulf of Mexico, pretty much clear as a bell here in the northwestern Gulf. It's here. You see that stalled out frontal boundary. This is the frontal boundary that's producing all that heavy rain here across Georgia, and will eventually become a big player here into Invest 92L. And we take a look over into the rest of the Atlantic. Wow, look at that intertropical convergence zone. And we have that potential. Look at that. That's a pretty impressive system here east of the Lesser Antilles. And we have that stalled out front here in the Central Atlantic. There is Invest 92L. The intertropical convergence zone. This looks more like, you know, later July, August into early September, not October. So this is a very robust tropical season that we are in. All right, taking a look at the tropical Atlantic here. We're taking a look at the model, starting off with the GFS for your Friday. Trying to close off Invest 92 here, L off the coastline here. And we put that into motion for your Saturday. And the GFS is pretty well trying to close off this low. So we might have some sort of depression forming out of this. Like I said, I put it about a 40% chance at this point, but it is rising pretty fast. And there's that next system of potential here developing out in the Atlantic. We put this into motion for your Sunday morning. Look at this. A lot of vorticity here, indicating that this system may be some sort of potentially named storm by Sunday morning. And there's that vorticity forming out here, the weakness in the ridge. And we put this into motion for your Monday. We have some sort of system still out here, whether it's still back here, or right up along the coastline here, bringing it slowly up the coast. And here is that next system approaching the Windward Islands here, in the Leeward Islands. Take a look at that. We put it into motion for your Tuesday, still holding on to it here in the islands. And then progressing it into Wednesday and Thursday. Here it is. There's something here the GFS is trying to grab onto. We'll see if the other models grab onto this as well. Thursday into Friday, there it is. Much, much, much more pronounced here. And then the GFS kind of pushes it a little bit to the east. There's a high pressure blocking high here that kind of blocks it. But this is pretty far out, so a lot can happen. This is Saturday, October 16th. Let's get into, let's see if the CMC model has a similar Friday. There it is, Friday into early Saturday, Invest92L. There is kind of hints here of that next system, and then we put that into motion. Look at that. There it is. There's Invest92L. CMC is a little bit more onshore here, so more of influence. We'll see if that could be potentially a tropical depression by then. Late Saturday on the CMC. We kind of washes it up here on Sunday early afternoon, and there's that next system kind of showing up here in that weakness. Lots of vorticity. Very densely packed, though. And later Monday, what's left of Invest92 on the CMC kind of starts washing out here. And we still have that system. But if you look, the CMC kind of brings it a little bit further south. And then there's some sort of secondary development over here out into the Bahamas. And this is by Wednesday, early afternoon, October 13th. So that is really interesting. We'll look at that. So, and there's some sort of system trying to form up here off the New England coast too. So the tropics are far from over. Put that into motion into Friday and Saturday. The Bahamas are still some sort of system there. And then let's go take a look at the Euro. What does the Euro have here? Well, if we put this into motion starting with Friday, there's Invest92L looking pretty well defined on the Euro. And we put that into motion for Saturday, looking pretty good. No signs of any low pressure forming out here on the Euro. Into your Sunday, look at that. Pretty well onshore at this point in North Carolina or just south of Norfolk. And that could be a problem here. We could have some sort of, according to the Euro model here, some sort of named storm by then. So model's pretty well bringing this up pretty decent here. And then kind of washing it out along the front by Tuesday. And as you look there throughout the week, the Euro is not really bullish on getting any sort of development out here. So we'll have to watch, see if the GFS and the CMC are onto something. And here we go. We'll briefly look at the mesoscale models. You can see later Friday here, or earlier Friday, the NAM model, high resolution, low pressure forming here off the coastline. These high-resolution mesoscale models tend to do really well when we get close to an event like this. And look at this. By Saturday morning, look at this. Low pressure just off the North Carolina coast. We'll see all those big ball of showers and thunderstorms. Look at all that tropical moisture south and east of it. And we get into later Saturday. It approaches the coastline here. And lots of heavy moisture just offshore. So if that comes on shore, that'll make the difference between 1 to 2 inches of rain and potentially 4 to 6 inches of rain in some areas. So there it is. NAM bringing it just near the South Carolina-North Carolina border. All right, we take a look at the NAM model. This is precipitation we're going over here. Let's take a look at total accumulated precipitation heading out through the day on Friday. Still a lot of heavy rain in Georgia, really accumulating especially south and east of the Atlanta area. Anywhere from like 1 to 2, 3 inches potentially in some pockets. And then we head on as far into Sunday here, just offshore. Look how close this comes. If you see some of these yellows offshore, this is 9, 10, 11 inches. So if this does decide to come a little bit further west or north and make landfall, this would bring some of the heavier rain in. Take a look at the GFS model. It is very similar here. We bring it heavier rains into Georgia later Friday into early Saturday. And then look at this. By about the time all the way through the weekend into late Sunday night, some very heavy rain here on the order of 4.5, 5.5 inches of rain affecting the Outer Banks here just east of Wilmington. And widespread rainfall amounts on the order of 1.25 all the way up to 2 inches. So that's a lot of rainfall there. And we get into the CMC model. Let's bring this into motion. Heading on into Friday, Saturday. So we still have some heavier rain east of Atlanta here. And then this is picking up on some heavier rain pockets. This is a little bit concerning for North Carolina. So the CMC does bring it in closer to shore. And look at some of the rainfall accumulated. I want to make note of this. Look how it brings it up towards the Chesapeake Bay here. anywhere from like 2.5 as much as 4.5 inches. This is the outlying model with this. Not sure if I'm quite buying this, but that is interesting to note there. And it kind of brings it up the coastline here. Even New York City getting on the 2.5, 3 inches of rain. That's crazy. So just offshore here, look at this. This is where we get in 5.5, 6 inches, 7 inches. So it wouldn't take much to get this system a little bit further to the west and bring in some of this heavier rain. That's why I'm a little bit concerned here, especially along the Carolina coast. And here we go. Many of you want me to touch on this potential cold snap affecting part of North America. Back east, it will be completely foreign to you, but nevertheless, look at out west here. This is early Friday. Now, these are lows. They're much more variable, but you'll get the picture here. We head to the highs. Very, 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 very pronounced ridge here in the central section of the country. Out west here, we're dealing with much colder than average temperatures. And look at this, back east, we're just dealing with a lot of very warm, unseasonably warm temperatures. You don't pay attention to the overnight lows because they're much more variable. But there's the tale of two continents here, basically. You have cold out west and very warm back east here. Very pronounced. Heading on into Monday of next week, look at that. That just pushes slowly to the east here. It just continues to warm up. Look at that, eastern Canada. Anywhere from like 12, 16, as much as 20 degrees above average here. This is crazy. And this is in Celsius, so it's a little bit even more pronounced here. And then we get into, look at this, Wednesday. The line here is crazy. And then you get anywhere from 16 to 20 degrees below average here in parts of Colorado and Wyoming. It is just crazy here. And we're continuing to deal with warm in the east here into your Thursday of next week, October 15th into Friday. Look at that. And it really tries to reinforce itself. So we're really stuck in this pattern back east here. It does try to wash out, but look at that. We get a warming trend here. Will that mean we finally get a cooling trend back east? A little bit. A little bit. And taking a look at the upper air pattern, we got that trough in the west, ridge in the east. You never guessed that that was a negative NAO index, but it really is. It's a negative NAO index, and it's a ridge back east. So there you have it. It is kind of blocky, though. So systems will be moving slow, stalling out. So that part of it is spot on. So warmth across the east, cold out west. And here we go for your TGIF. The day you've been waiting for all week. Well, it looks really nice. It could be much colder for this time of year, but we're well above average. Temperatures getting well up into the mid-70s. Places like Binghamton, Scranton, New York City, Atlantic City, Pittsburgh, Erie, and all of these places to the west as well. Even up into parts of New England. 72 in Concord, 72 in Burlington, 69 in Portland. So we're just well above average on the backside of this high pressure, just cresting off of shore here, off of Nantucket Island. So very beautiful. We will have some late day showers, places like Buffalo State College and Harrisburg, D.C. on westward, but generally 1/10 of an inch or less. And Friday across the southeast, we have that stalled out frontal boundary, area of low pressure right over Panama City, Panhandle, Florida here. And we have that area of low pressure, that tropical wave off the coastline as well. Very slim chance of any development into a named system, but it will keep heavier rains, especially in the afternoons from the Florida Peninsula, eastern Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, western Virginia here. In the darker greens, we could see 1 to 2 inches of additional rain on Friday with locally higher amounts possible here. So flash flooding is a potential with these tropical moisture heading up and over this stationary front. Further west, 87 in New Orleans, 92 in Houston, very dry. But back east, 78 in Atlanta, 79 in Raleigh and Norfolk, 83 in Charleston, keeping the temperatures down slightly. And Saturday across the Northeast, we have a little bit of a cool down, although we're still well above average. You can see 60s across much of the Northeast, upper 60s, places like State College, Scranton, New York City, Binghamton, Syracuse, Albany. And then we get into the New England area, Concord, a little bit held down here, 61, 60 in Portland. But we do have that chance, 30 to 40% chance of late day showers across New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and parts of Maryland here. Stationary front stalled out across southern Ontario, keeping conditions rather warm and mild. Generally 1/10 of an inch or less. And taking a look at the southeast for your Saturday, stalled out frontal boundary, and we have that Invest92L system continuing to move up along the Carolina coastline here, somewhere between the North and South Carolina border coastline here and the front just offshore, helping to produce this heavier bands of rain that won't be a solid rainfall event, but you'll have these bands that come in and they'll last a couple hours each a time. So anywhere from 1 to 2 inches, especially into the darker green shading. Locally higher amounts offshore, but it wouldn't take much to get some of these heavier amounts moving into eastern North Carolina and eastern South Carolina. Also dealing with some rainfall across Florida, although it will be later, just associated with the frontal boundary. And Sunday across the Northeast, look at this. Sunday morning rain has fallen there. Look at that. It probably won't be that rainy, especially in the morning, but in the afternoon we'll have a chance of showers. Places like DC 75, 72, in Atlantic City 67, and New York City 69, almost pushing 70 there in Binghamton, and 60s, mid-60s up into portions of central and northern New England here. So the warm spot is actually Erie, Pennsylvania. 78 is warm weather, crests off of the Ohio River Valley to the west here. We're getting some real warming conditions in the central part of the United States with that big super ridge building. And we have your Sunday across the southeast, and also a Sunday morning rain is falling here in Norfolk and Charleston, and then later in the afternoon hours, Tampa and Miami. Areas further west, Atlanta all the way to New Orleans and Houston, warming up and will be drier. But we'll still be dealing with that system potentially. It could stay just off the coast or start to come inland near North Carolina. So we'll watch it here. We'll have to see if it becomes any sort of a named system or if it stays Invest92L or even becomes a depression at this point. Rainfall amounts will continue to be about 3/4 of an inch, maybe up to an inch locally higher, depending on how strong this system gets. And we end it with Monday. Yeah, I know. Monday. Everybody has a case of the Mondays. It's not the greatest day of the week, but look at that. If you do have it off, which many of you will, it is coming up on Columbus Day. Some of you are lucky enough to have it off. Look at that. Beautiful. We will have the chance of late day showers, especially closer to the coastline you are with that stalled off stationary front offshore, and then up into southern Ontario and Erie, Pennsylvania. But look at that. Look at that. Once again, Erie is the warm spot. 82 degrees. This has got to be some sort of records we're closing in on here. And 79 in Pittsburgh, 75 in Binghamton, 76 in Harrisburg. Look at that, all the way to 70 in Concord. This does not feel like fall here at all. And for your Monday across the southeast, we're still dealing with that stalled frontal boundary and Invest92L, or what will it be at this point? It will literally just be off the North Carolina coast or sitting right along it, depending on how far west this does come. Showers will be mainly confined to coastal sections. It will be lightening up by this point because the front will be starting to wash out at this point. But it looks like the system will become, whatever it becomes here, will become entrained in the front itself. We will have drying across the rest of the southeast, continuing Raleigh, finally getting a dry day here, 77, 83 in Birmingham. Warming up on the backside here at 91 in Houston. So really warming up quickly behind this. And your extended outlook across the areas from Binghamton to Scranton, Susquehanna region of upstate New York, Northeast Pennsylvania, my hometown viewer, central forecast area. Take a look at that. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Mostly cloudy, mostly overcast. We will have breaks of sunshine. Look at that. Friday, 76. Only these lows are upper 50s for the most part. So very, very warm for this time of year, closer to our average highs. 68 and 69 on Sunday. There is a chance of showers both Saturday and Sunday, you would guess. Of course, it's the weekend, but there's only a 30% chance. It's scattered about, generally a 1/10 of an inch or less. So it's not an all-day rain event, so if you want to get out there and enjoy some outdoor activities, go ahead. Monday, if you do have it off, it being Columbus Day, 75. Wow, that's one of the warmest Columbus days I can remember. Tuesday, 75 as well. So just downright warm. As always, I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern and Hurricane Eastern. We will slowly transition towards winter here, and I am working on my 2021-22 winter weather outlook, so watch out for that shortly. And as always, Facebook, Give my Facebook page some love, Meteor Mark. Also Weather Northeastern. Also Hurricane Northeastern. Twitter, it is just at Weather Eastern now. Weather Eastern. And don't forget, subscribe, hit the bell button so you're alerted when I come up with one of these videos.